I'm Graham Carr, President and Vice-Chancellor of Concordia University.
Well, Graham, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'd like to start off light just by giving you a chance to introduce yourself and Concordia University, and also tell us how you see Concordia fitting into Montreal's university ecosystem.
So I'm Graham Carr, and I'm the President and Vice-Chancellor of the university. I've been in that role since late in 2019. Concordia is a young university. We're actually ranked as the top Canadian and North American university less than 50 years old. We're an urban university with two campuses, one right in the heart of downtown Montreal and one about 7 kilometers to the west in a more residential area. We have over 50,000 students coming from approximately 155 countries, and about 20% of our students are graduate students. So we're also a very research-intensive university, and I think we contribute to the Montreal ecosystem in a variety of ways, partly because of our size, but also the extraordinary diversity of our student population.
I grew up in Montreal, so I'm very well aware of the amazing talent that Concordia keeps pumping out year after year after year. So thanks a lot for the contributions you keep making. Um, I also went to school, to university in Montreal, and I know that it's consistently ranked as a top place to study for both foreign and domestic students. I had an awesome experience there, but I'd like to hear from you what you think makes the city unique compared to other university cities out there.
Well, again, the global rankings on student cities just came out a week or two ago, and Montreal is once more in the top 10 in the world and tops in Canada. I think there are a number of reasons for that, Tim. One is that this is really a university city. Boston is the only other North American city that compares with Montreal in terms of the sheer number of students in higher education, the number of universities, and I think the global quality of universities. So that's definitely part of it. But also, Montreal in the North American context is a city unlike any other. It's, I believe, the most cosmopolitan city in North America, in part because of the linguistic and cultural diversity of the city. It's also an extremely safe place, and we know that our students, foreign students, international students in particular, are concerned by that or interested in that. And it's a city which has a lot of promise for talent because of the emphasis on technology and design as cores to the Montreal economy, which is very attractive to students coming from elsewhere in Canada and around the world.
Well, you just mentioned how that's attractive to students. I'd also like to hear how you see it being attractive to foreign companies who are looking for the next destination where they're going to expand their international footprint.
Again, for foreign companies looking at Montreal, the quality of life is really wonderful in Montreal. So that's important in terms of employee satisfaction. But companies are, of course, looking around the world for talent basins where they can set up shop and be sure to have a good supply of diverse talent. And I think one of the things that Montreal offers is a very well educated population because the higher education sector is so strong. But also, I mentioned in our case, Concordia, we have students from more than 150 countries. The majority of our students speak a language other than English as their first language. That cultural and linguistic diversity, that sense of worldly experience, I think is also a huge value added for employers when looking at the Montreal market. So not only do you have highly trained individuals because of access to higher education, but you have highly trained individuals who are broad-minded in terms of their own cultural experience and lived experience. And I think that's a unique value added that Montreal can offer to foreign enterprises. I think in our case at Concordia, we do a lot of not only research work but placements with Ericsson, for example, the large Swedish telecom company, with Siemens, the German-based company that's involved in not just aerospace but in building engineering and a whole variety of other areas, and of course. The aerospace sector itself, Pratt and Whitney, other multinational companies. So we're definitely there's a correlation between the large international enterprises coming to Montreal and the ability of the higher ed ecosystem to supply talent to those companies.
You mentioned that there are students from hundreds of different countries who come to Concordia, to Montreal, to study. Do you have any insight on how many of those, or what proportion of them, actually end up staying once they've graduated and finding jobs in the city or the region?
I have some insight on that, Tim. It's not perfect, but obviously for us, we have an international student population, which accounts for about 24% of our total population, and we're very interested to track what happens to those students once they graduate from the university. And we surprised ourselves a few years ago, about 2 years ago, when we discovered that over about the past 5 years, this prior to the pandemic, somewhere north of 50% of international students ended up staying in Quebec after their graduation, which was a higher number than we anticipated. And that's something we want to track more closely, because it's an important data point for us in our conversations with government about the importance of supporting international education and promoting internationalization of education here in Montreal. And we know that many students coming to Montreal are looking to get permanent residency in Canada. They're encouraged to come here both by the quality of the education that's offered, but also by the employment opportunities that are available upon graduation.
Obviously, those employment opportunities are a key issue for anybody coming or in Montreal looking to establish themselves. Do Concordia and also the other academic institutions within the city work with business to ensure that there are opportunities for their students? How would you describe the collaboration between academia and industry in that respect?
So I think, as a general rule, the collaboration is very good, particularly with some of the larger companies and enterprises in the Montreal area in the big sectors. So sectors like aerospace, sectors like AI, et cetera. Increasingly, though, what we're trying to do at Concordia, and I expect other universities are the same, is trying to reach out to small medium enterprise and also show how we can be complementary to their needs in two ways. One is by developing talent, which they need in their workplace, and the second is through collaborative research opportunities where we can lend a hand and work with the private sector, work with NGOs and others to address some of the challenges that they're facing. At Concordia, we've had a strong history of co-op education and job placements for undergraduate students, and increasingly at the graduate level, we've been putting emphasis on research integrated work experiences as well. And our goal as an institution is that by 2025, every student at the university, whether they're an undergraduate or a graduate, will have had the opportunity to do at least one experiential learning stage as part of their program. We can only make that work, we can only achieve that goal through collaboration with the private sector, with NGOs and the public sector, because we need them to partner with us. And I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to achieve that goal based on the data points that we're seeing right now.
Obviously, it's no surprise to anyone. We're in a global war for talent. Talent is the new gold or the new oil, if you ask me. Um, in terms of the research and innovation side of Montreal's academic institution and ecosystem, where do you see our strengths, and where do you see foreign interest coming into sector-wise to really capitalize on the strengths that Montreal has in those industries?
I think some of the strengths which Montreal has built up over the years are certainly in areas like the life sciences and health sciences. So here I would point out that, you know, McGill University, Université de Montréal, two top 100 universities in the world, both have large medical schools. Universities like Concordia have a school of health, as do some of the other non-medical institutions, and there's a huge amount of investment in health and life science related research that has been happening in Montreal over the years. I mentioned previously AI. Obviously, Montreal has really carved out a global niche for itself as a leader in AI. And I think again, Université de Montréal, École Polytechnique, Concordia are all playing a very important role in that field. Aerospace has long been a major component of the Montreal economy. And the trickle down effects of the success of the aerospace sector in terms of nurturing small medium enterprises is important as well. And again, the universities have had long-standing collaborative relationships with the aerospace sector. Maybe the other one I would just mention is, you know, Montreal is very much a city of design. So you have huge, world-class enterprises like the Cirque du Soleil and others, which are based in Montreal, which are real innovators in terms of the sweet spot between technology and the arts, computational design, and again. That's an area where I think Concordia and other universities make a very important collaboration and provide an attractive talent base for those global companies to locate here.
I'd like to give you one final opportunity to imagine that you're pitching to a whole room of foreign investors who are looking for their next site, next destination city to expand their international presence. Uh, how would you pitch Montreal to them? What would you say? What would you stress in 30 seconds?
I think Montreal is an exciting city with an extraordinarily diverse talent pool. It's really invested in some cutting edge next gen industries and enterprises, and it offers a fantastic quality of life, which is, I think, unmatched in North America. Come on down.